Hey, what's up guys, Rado here, and this is YZ125 build. Today we are going to take it far. As you can see, the frame is ready here with the front suspension, engine is ready, we showed you that in the last video, completely rebuilt with everything, 134 big bore kit in it. And today, the most important thing would be to take care of our bearings in the swing arm and the linkage. We're gonna do all that, and then taking all these parts and throw it on a frame, and this thing will start looking like a dirt bike again. So let's see how far we can get. We're gonna get busy, let's have fun. The factory links kit for the swing arm comes with everything you need. Everything is nicely packed in these little plastic bags. All the washers, seals, spacers, inserts, bearings, pretty much everything you need. So get it torched and heat it up. Make it hot. I don't know how many degrees, but just heat it up for like a few minutes. And right now we are at the Dirt Bike TV garage with Jay Clark. He has this big arbor press that we are using to press the bearing in. Look at that beauty. That thing is like 60 or 70 years old, and it's just such a cool way to press your bearing in, because you can actually feel as you are pressing them in. So as we are pressing them in, we measured and we make sure that they are pressed into center of the linkage or of the swing arm, so then we have enough room from both sides for the washers and the seals. And we are back in my garage. We're gonna put everything together now. The most important part is to grease everything, pack everything nicely with the grease. I got this blue Maxima grease that I'm using for all my rebuilds, and just put it on my finger and kind of push it in between the bearings, between those needles, make sure that it's all packed. Also, this is a truss bearing that I also packed, put it in. You know, when you are putting these together, I always check microfiche, so I know the diagram, I know how things go back together, because I don't remember when I take it apart. Now I have this bearing driver kit, and I need to improvise a little bit to drive those inner seals, because they're a little more tricky, but not too hard to figure it out. A little bit more grease, and then we push in our spacers from also there is a little spacer at the end, and inserts from both sides, and make sure that everything is spinning nicely, everything is where it's supposed to be, and everything is centered how it's supposed to be. We do the same with our linkage, pack it with the grease, and once that's done, we're gonna press in the seals from both sides, and there are also inserts that go into your linkage. We'll put those in, and again make sure that everything spins nice and smooth. And guys, it feels so amazing once you put this back together with the brand new bearings and the grease, and everything just feels like new. As you are pressing these together, make sure that you don't press those little needles out from the needle bearings. Just gotta be a little bit careful. I checked it before with my finger, make sure that everything is inside. Same thing with this dog bone, what we call a dog bone. Press those things in, put your insert, and keep going. Now these are little spacers that go on the swing arm. I removed them and zinc plated them with the Charles from MX Revival. So I'm putting them back together with these little bolts, and I'm using a red Loctite because I'm not planning to removing these things like ever. So they need to stay there. I think red Loctite will do a good job here. And see how nice and shiny they are? They used to be black before. Now we are going with a stock chain block, and the top was actually the raw aluminum, and we did that with a sand metal finishing with Chris Puffer. We Cerakoted everything to match our engine and other pieces. This is a tungsten color, and we're using a spec bolts for this. That everything just looks so nice. Everything is shiny, and I mean, I just love to put these things together when everything is, you know, new and fixed, painted, coated, hydroblasted. It just looks amazing. It's so fun to work with it. My hands don't get dirty. It's different than taking bike apart. Just don't go too crazy with the tightening those bolts. Slider, same stuff. I'm just going with the stock black color, nothing too fancy. This is going to be a motorbike, and as I said before, we are trying to keep the heritage as much as we can. We're not gonna use too much aftermarket parts on this build. Trying to go with the OEM as much as we can. So once this is done, we're gonna install the linkage. Look at those linkage bolts, also zinc plated with Charles MX Revival. We put grease on them for sure. Don't forget that as you are installing, there is a washer from each side. We'll drop it in through that part of a linkage that we already have in a swing arm, and put the washer and the nut from the other side. And as you can see, I'm not using torque wrench yet, but I will torque everything to the specs. Once I have bike together, I will take a torque wrench, check my specs, and then we'll go around the bike and make sure that everything is in the specs. Alright, everything's looking good here. Now look at these bad boys right here. These are titanium, pretty sharp, but keep you planted from car. And I got some hardware from Yamaha OEM. I bought that. I want to install that first because I want to use strap downs for the frame to stay strapped on the stand. So my foot pegs actually will help me. I'll hook up. You will see what I'm gonna do here. They just look so beautiful once you put them on this new frame with the brand new pins and springs. Yeah, I didn't want to reuse the old one. They were not in a bad shape, but once I'm doing this build, I just wanted to go OEM brand new and just make it look pristine. And at this point, we just hook it up like that, crank it a couple times, and make sure that our frame is nice and stable, and we can keep going with everything else. And now comes the most exciting part of today's build, and that's when you actually take your engine that is done and you put it inside in the frame. So you can see I'm a rookie. I left a Kickstarter on there, but it's a 125, so it's not a big engine. It fits in easily, and look at that. Once you put it in and you see that the contrast with all the colors and the combination I painted and everything, I love how everything looks. Putting the bolts in, also we make sure that we have the blue grease on them. We don't put bolts in without the grease. These little brackets on the top of the engine, we actually also Cerakoted that, as you can see, the same color as everything else. So we have this nice matching look. Bolts as well are original OEM bolts, but we got them zinc plated as well. So in this build, guys, I think I probably went the furthest so far from all my builds. I touch every single piece, and all the bolts are either brand new or they have some kind of finish on them. So it's looking a little bit better than before, and I'm loving it. Again, these bolts, we are actually not going too tight because I don't have a swing arm in yet, so I want to be able to move my engine slightly left, right, up and down if I need to, because I'm going to install the swing arm, and then the main bolt for the swing arm goes actually through the engine. So I want to have some room there, and after that I'm gonna go back and tighten everything up. Swing arm, again, a bunch of grease on that bolt. You don't want to put that in dry, because if that happens and you baked it in, it's almost impossible to take that swing arm bolt out. There's a bunch of grease, it should be enough. Should be good. We're gonna go a little bit tighter on this one, but use the torque wrench after everything is together. Just make sure that everything moves smoothly, nicely. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. Sometimes if you have your bearings installed a little bit incorrectly, something can be binding and your movement wouldn't be as smooth. So every step of my build here, when I'm putting on these moving parts, I make sure that they move up and down and they are smooth. There is no binding nowhere. Same goes for a linkage. Everything moves nice. Let's keep going. Those little plugs there, the black rubber plugs, these are stuck. I just removed them before we got this swing arm hydroblasted, and I cleaned them. Look at that beautiful shock with the matching spring. I love it. Look at that. So this is also one of my favorite parts, putting this shock on the frame when the engine and the swing arm is together, because it's now all connected. The backbone of the bike is there, everything is there, so it's looking good. These black plugs, again, this is an old OEM plug that I removed before. Only the big one in the middle is brand new. They were like $7 each. But the two small plugs, I just cleaned them nicely and then spray some WD on them, let it soak, and it's looking as good as new. So just push them in, make sure they sit everywhere, and then we can keep going installing other parts. Carburetor, new cable from ProX. We looped that before a little bit to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. Also, the carburetor is a little bit custom, I would say. We Cerakoted the top and the bottom, so it's matching other parts there. We are going to use jetting from Tom Morgan. He built the engine for us. He did the porting and big bore, so he sent me the specs for the needle and the jetting and all that. We're gonna make sure that we have that in before we do our first start on this engine. We got a rebuild kit from ProX. We rebuilt the carburetor. Brad from ParaPro so rebuilt that for us as we are working on the engine. So should be nice. Mikuni stock carb, everything is stock there. Look at those hoses. Somebody didn't like the pink color. I love it. These are the stock OEM hoses from Honda, and they work great for all the builds. Pretty much all the builds I have done like that. Yeah, I just need to play with the routing a little more of those hoses and everything will be nice. Now for the throttle, we also Cerakoted that the same color. So we have few colors on this bike. As you can see, the tungsten Cerakote. We have a black color, we have red color, and white, and the raw aluminum. That's pretty much all we're gonna have on this bike. And you can also Cerakote the top plastic piece of this housing for the throttle. You will see once we put everything together, when I'm installing the top piece, that's also matching color. And as long as you are not touching it too much and not, like a high traffic area, the Cerakote will stay on the plastic no problem. It's not gonna scratch easy. Finishing touches there. This is everything stock. I didn't want to go any aftermarket. Everything is 22 years old there. And that's the piece from the top that is also Cerakoted. That's a plastic piece. And those little bolts that are brand new, they come in the full restoration kit from Spec Bolt. They give you all the sizes, all the bolts you need for the bike. So it's very convenient, and they are packed in little packages. So once you're working on a throttle, you just open the throttle package and everything is in there. So I want to adjust my slack there. I don't want to have too much of a movement, just a tiny bit. Make sure that everything works, everything clicks. Let's hear it. There you go. Alright my friends, and this is it. This is how far we got today. I don't know about you, but I'm loving this combination of these new colors we have here and old school plastics. The white looks amazing, and I'm actually really liking the shape of it, especially number plate and front fender. I'm so happy that we didn't go to any restyle kits for this build. Details are looking pretty good. Let me know below in the comments how you like it so far. What you think about the details we did here, the color combination, and all the decisions we took so far. Let me know below in the comments, and don't forget guys, whatever you do, stay motivated. See you guys later.